Do you think platforms like Airbnb are affecting rental inventory?
That's a good question. I think they probably do, but I use Airbnb and I like it. So they probably do have an effect.
A net negative or a net positive?
Negative.
Yeah, in
And a
what way?
negative. Well, um, because a lot of property is bought for or used for Airbnb, so that property is not going to be sold.
Well, I do think so to some degree because people are making the choice to um, take their properties and Airbnb them for a higher income profit than renting them by the month. So we are actually rental property owners ourselves. We just rent by the month, but there's certainly a big market out there for people that are choosing to purchase homes as rental properties but Airbnb them instead. So I would say so, yes.
Yes, I think they are.
In what way?
I think it's reducing the amount of rental space that's available.
And is that a problem?
I believe it is, yeah.
Any solutions?
I don't know what the solution is. Rental prices are going up. We need more space. Obviously, private owners have the right to use their space how they want, so I don't know what the solution is.
But I mean, I'm a capitalist. I'm happy to see anything that makes the economy tick. And if that's people are buying properties and turning them into Airbnbs and starting their own little companies, own little businesses, tax revenue comes from that. It promotes tourism. So for me, I don't have a big problem with it. But understanding that it does affect people who are next door, etc. So there has to be probably some rules around that, and maybe even some taxes around that as well, probably. So
I think they are because since it's such a huge, like, wide known website and company, it's like a very big thing. I know I'm from Vancouver, and in Vancouver, and I think it's British Columbia, the law is that you can only use Airbnb if it's your primary residence. So like you can't just own a place and just rent it off to Airbnb specifically, which I think is a good law in preventing people from just making money off of things of just having a place and having people move in quickly. And I definitely think it has a big effect, and I think that it's making it. I think it probably is making prices go up.
I think it should have an impact, especially in the market like the ones that we have now in Canada, where there is a shortage of available housing. So if you have more units that are taken from Airbnb for a private profit, then those units are not on the market. So obviously, it's a matter of law of offer and demand. So there's less offer, and demand keeps rising because there's more population and not more housing that is built. So yes, there's definitely an impact. Whether it's big or not, it's another debate, but there's an impact for sure.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. I mean, there's evidence that's a big issue because it's mainly coming from corporations that are buying these Airbnbs. Corporations should definitely not be allowed to buy houses at all for profit because it takes away thousands of, could be 1 million homes just out of normal people's pockets, and it just raises the prices, and they just increase rent that way, they increase housing prices that way, and then when we have inflation, they're just going to let go of all these homes, and that's just going to crash the entire housing market for everyone. So they should definitely not be allowed to do that stuff.
I would think Airbnb has diminished the rental inventory. There are a certain relative number of units which definitely have been bought up or rented and are being used for Airbnb purposes as opposed to for long-term rentals, and have obviously therefore maybe contributing to the housing shortage in Montreal.
Yes, I do. I believe so. They just keep putting up the prices and everything's to follow. So, I mean, Airbnb is what people can get out of it. So the more they push it up, it affects the rental costs. Overall, I'm saying an overall platform.
No, what I do believe Airbnb is for 1 or 2 nights stay and the person uses their discretion at what they charge. And I find what drives rent up would be the costs of fuel, heating, lights. The bare essentials went up, so the landlord drives the price up a little. And plus, no rent control, so it's open game for the landlords.
I think it does affect the rental market, but I think it's a necessity. I think people like it. I think maybe they should have some restrictions on Airbnb, but yeah, I think it's a good thing to have.
I think when people have Airbnbs, some of them abuse the system. I think they take advantage of people. I think maybe they need to be limited in the amount of rentals that they're allowed per year, maybe.